India. What's going wrong in countries like Pakistan, India and Bangladesh? What's causing this terrible air quality there?
Good afternoon. First of all, thanks for having me here. And it's a very important question. And there are many reasons why we see deteriorating air conditions in these three countries and also increasing PM 2.5 level. These three countries are, first of all, developing countries and also very cheap labor market. So all cheap factories, they are based in these three countries. And the governments have to provide also employment to hundreds of millions of youth. Then when at one side, you have to provide jobs to these unemployed youth, and then you have cheap labor market, cheap factories, then of course, you end up using a dirty fuel, dirty fossil fuel, and then the vehicle emissions, then the bad agriculture patterns and behaviors, construction industry, cement industry. So it's a mix of all these things. That's why we see the increasing PM 2.5 level, and which is like 15 to 20 times more than the WHO standard. And the result is that the millions of people are suffering. People have health issues. People have like poor lungs, then getting strokes, weaker immune system. So it's a very complex situation. And as I mentioned, at one end, governments are trying to provide jobs to like unemployed youth, but at the cost of the health. And it's a catch-22 situation. And mix of all is leading to deteriorating health conditions and increasing environmental pollution in these three South Asian countries.
That's right. And sometimes one of the challenges is that people don't see the impacts of this bad air quality for many years. And it can be hard to tell what exactly was the cause for people's health problems, whether it was bad air quality or their jobs or perhaps an inherited condition. But I want to ask you, what can countries who understandably perhaps don't want to reduce industrial production for the reasons you've mentioned because of jobs. So what can they do to improve air quality?
I think, see, first of all, unfortunately, the way politics works, so our politicians and leadership, whether they are business leaders or political leaders, they go for a short-term, no solution. So they want to win elections, they want to create jobs in a very shorter period, but they forget that the longer term, actually, it's a loss. Because by improving the air quality, by improving the living standards, by improving the environmental situation, they can create more jobs because people will be more healthier, people will have more productivity, people will fall sick less and less. So in a longer term, actually, the investment in right now, in the clean energy, the investment in the healthy environment and to stop deforestation, I think that's a more beneficial business model. But as I mentioned, like the politicians and the business leaders are only looking for the short-term solutions. And that's why I don't think that in the coming future, I mean, like in the next 10 years, I will see
improvements there. And just really quickly, Mr. Dubey, if you can still hear me before you go, I wondered, your organisation is about activism. What can ordinary citizens do to improve their situation in terms of air quality?
I think, see, as an activist, of course, we are putting pressure through Non-Violent Disobedience Act, on the government that they should take some drastic actions. At the same time, we also need the help of the policy advisors, the help of media, at the same time, from the corporates. At the same time, the people also at the individual level, they need to change their lifestyle, what they eat, how they consume the products, how they live their life on daily basis. So I think we need to try at every level and different levels if we really want to solve this air pollution issue or this environmental issue.
All right, Chittranjan Dubey from Berlin, many thanks for joining us with that insight.